So Wednesday, the finale for Miss Marvel dropped on Disney Plus, and I got pretty good things to say about the finale as well as the series overall. Please know that everything that I will say in this video is just my very own opinion. My name is SW Nation, and you are free to comment down below your very own opinion on Miss Marvel, the finale, as well as the series overall. Are you excited for the Marvels? Comment that down below in the comment section. Please don't forget to check out that Twitter. That's going to pop up on your screen right now. And also, please note that this video is going to be split up into two halves. The first half is going to be an episode breakdown / rant of the finale. And then the second half is going to be a full-on spoiler review of the entire series. With those rules and regulations out of the way, let's get right into our rant. So we kick off the episode with damage control in pursuit of Bruno and Cameron. Again, the powers here are just weird looking. The CGI is just horrible. We go into the con house where Kamala tries to tell her family that she's Nightlight, but come to find out, her family already knows. And before she goes out to help Bruno and Cameron through a FaceTime call with Nakia, Ami gives Kamala a new suit, which made me think, how the F? Like, how? How did she get a new suit? Like, I don't understand. Like, how did she make the suit? And this is a theory that a YouTuber, Robert Meyer Burnett from the John Campea Show, had said. I'm just going to summarize his theory. He said that basically after AvengerCon, when she saw that she didn't want to wear the Hulk costume, she already was calling someone up in Pakistan to make this Miss Marvel costume because Captain Marvel is her favorite superhero, and it also has some of the attributes of Captain Marvel, the same color scheme, but also it has a nice little Pakistan style to it. And I thought, well, that's a nice theory. Maybe she saw the lightning bolt symbol form her necklace. She thought, okay, well, that can be her symbol. And I thought, okay, well, that makes a lot more sense than, you know, me thinking, I guess they were just in Pakistan for a little bit longer between 5 and 6, which makes no sense timeline-wise. Now, while Cameron and Bruno escape the mosque, Kamala, in her new suit, meets them in the alley, and I just gotta say, it's amazing. That suit is incredible. I love the way the suit looks, and I love the way Kamala looks inside of the suit. Iman Vellani, she looks great in the suit. I loved it. Kamran's mother, Najima, calls out to him, but in a huge burst of energy. Again, the power display does not look good. Another thing is that, how did Najima give Kamran powers if she never had powers of herself? Like, the powers that she gave Kamran, she never had. Like, that makes no sense. Like, how can you give someone powers that you yourself have never had? Kamala calls her Red Dagger's friend and gives Kamran a ticket out of Jersey. So in the high school, Kamala, Nakia, Bruno, and Kamran meet to do a little circle shot, Bad Boy style, which I can tell that was definitely from the Bad Boys for Life directors, because they did that exact same shot in Bad Boys for Life. In every Bad Boys movie, they have that circle shot, and I guess they brought some of that here into the Miss Marvel show. And also, Zoe just shows up, and while advising of a plan, Amir just shows up too. It's just mighty convenient how these two characters show up. Like, for me, I was like, okay, yeah, now we're getting into what the other Disney Plus Marvel shows do, just conveniences, because there's no way Zoe just shows up on a Saturday. She's at school on a Saturday to film TikToks because the theater has good lighting. It's a Saturday. You're not at school filming TikTok. And then Amir is just there, which I can kind of understand. Kamala's mom sent Amir to look after her, even though, you know, she has powers, she's a superhero, she still is responsible for her daughter. So I like the fact that Amir just shows up, but it's like, Zoe, you're not at school filming TikToks on a Saturday. Like, you're not doing that. It just seems fitting that the finale happens in a high school. But I feel like if I seen more of the school, or if I seen more of her in this environment, in these different classes, then I would care more. And I should have cared more. It's a fun final battle, though. Very creative, very entertaining, seeing Damage Control get tricked by these kids and Amir. Kamran finds out that his mother is dead after all of this, and in the heat of it all, Damage Control begins shooting at Kamran in front of a crowd of Pakistanis. In order to protect Kamran, Kamala says the words "embiggen" and does exactly that. It's a nice full circle thing, because in the beginning of the series, she didn't really know how to use these powers and stuff like that. She was just embiggening by accident, and I like the fact that in the last episode of the series, she was able to do it on command. But once again, the display of power is cool. Like, we see Kamran do some cool things with his powers. We see Kamala, you know, she has her stretchy hands. It's cool to see that, but it looks bad. And another thing is, why make her powers look crystallized? I don't like the crystallized look of her powers. It would have been simpler to do the stretchy powers. It would have been simpler to do that. Instead, doing the crystallized look, I guess it has something to do with Captain Marvel too. We won't know until we see the Marvels. But having her powers be crystallized, that makes no sense. Kamran's powers begin spiraling out of control, though, putting him and Kamala inside of a little crystallized ball dome until Kamala assures him that he has to accept these powers that he's been given, and she lets him escape to get to the harbor. Now, once the ball comes down, the entire crowd surrounds Kamala to give her enough time to get away from damage control. And after she gets away, Agent Deaver is relieved of her duty. Agent Deaver is the woman agent that is over damage control, and the man agent from Spider-Man No Way Home actually relieves her of her duty. Actually, throughout the entire episode, he's been saying that, don't do this, don't fire at a bunch of kids, don't be tracking down these kids, pull out. But she wouldn't. She stayed there. And, it's cool to see that we have something to deal with these superpowered beings, because in a world like the MCU, there would be things like damage control. There would be law firms like we saw in the She-Hulk trailer that deal with superhuman beings. I think that's pretty interesting. After this, Jersey begins to share TikTok stories of what happened, the ones who were there actually, of what happened. And I thought it worked for me because TikTok is a huge platform. I personally hate TikTok, but I like the fact that they kind of roped that in there. It's going to get dated because when TikTok eventually dies down, it's going to get dated. But I think overall, at a time like this, I think they did a pretty good job with the TikTok stuff. And after this, back at the con house, Kamala looks at herself in the mirror with her new suit on. And it's a full circle moment. In the first episode, she's looking at herself in the cosplay Captain Marvel suit. And now she has her own suit. And it's also a full circle moment for Iman Vellani, someone who dressed up as Miss Marvel at 15. And now she's in the MCU. She has a real costume. She's not cosplaying as Miss Marvel anymore. She is Miss Marvel, looking at herself in the mirror. I thought that was impactful and beautiful to see a Pakistani as a superhero. And the fact that Iman Vellani gets to be that for every Pakistani in the world, I thought that was incredible. That was incredible. They did a great job with that moment. And it didn't bring tears to my eyes, but it gave me chills. I loved it. Now, Kamala's dad then tells the story about how they gave her her name. So then it's a nice cute moment because the mom gave her her suit and the dad gave her her name, because they said that they've been trying to have a kid for a while, and when Kamala came, it was like a miracle and it was like a marvel. She was their little Marvel, their little Miss Marvel. And some people may think that's cheesy. I don't care. I loved it. They gave Miss Marvel her name. The dad gave her her name. The mom gave her the suit. It's just parents doing something nice for their daughter. Parents just being there for their daughter. Incredible stuff. A beautiful shot from the comics and the trailer of her looking over the harbor in her suit on the light post. And for me, when I saw that in the trailer, I thought, that's an incredible shot. That's going to be an incredible moment inside of the show. And sure enough, it was. I got chills when I saw it in the trailer back in like March. I got chills when I saw it in the show, in the finale as well. 2 weeks go by, and Bruno tells Kamala there's something up with her genetic makeup. And this is when I started having a blank face, when this whole reveal happened. It's one of the most important things that happened inside of the MCU, and still I had a blank face. Bruno tells her there is a mutation in her genetic makeup, signifying that Kamala Khan is a mutant. There are mutants in the MCU. The MCU has mutants now. We got introduced to the mutants. This is a negative, by the way. I'm excited that mutants are here. I'm okay. I've come to warm up to the fact that she's a mutant, because Inhumans and mutants are kind of like the same thing. But traditionally, Miss Marvel is an Inhuman. They just announced that she's a mutant. Who else is a mutant? Does that mean Kamran's a mutant? Since he has the same powers as Kamala, does that mean he's a mutant now? We don't know. I don't know what this entails for the rest of the MCU. But all I got to say is we got introduced to the mutants in the MCU from a Disney Plus TV show. I never thought that would happen. I thought we was going to get it in film. We got introduced to the Inhumans in film, but granted, that was multiverse, so it probably didn't matter. But God, it seems like Kevin Feige really hates the Inhumans, and honestly, I can see why, because he didn't even want the TV show to happen, and how dreadful the TV show was. Yeah, I can see why he would want to kill off Black Bolt and change one of the most popular Inhumans to a mutant. I could see why he wanted us to do that, but come on. We got introduced to the freaking mutants in a Disney Plus TV show. And also, I have an issue with that. Inhumans are exposed to Terrigen Mist, then they become Inhumans. And then mutants, they have to go through a traumatic incident because the gene is dormant until they go through a traumatic incident. And then the mutant gene comes out. It usually goes through when puberty. Kamala got exposed to the bangle. The bangle gave her powers, I thought. That's what they showed us inside of the show. I don't think her putting on the bangle was a traumatic experience. Like, I don't think that. And also the connections with that and the 10 rings. I just wanted to say that. The bangle is connected to the 10 rings, everybody. But the fact that Kamala puts on the bangle and she gets her powers, she was exposed to something and it gave her the powers. That wasn't a traumatic incident. I guess the bangle just awakened that gene, that dormant gene. I don't know. Overall, Kamala's a mutant. We just got to accept that moving forward. That probably has something to do with the rest of the MCU moving forward, because it is one of the most important, next to Nick Fury coming to Iron Man saying, Avenger Initiative, this is one of the most important moments in the MCU, top 3 important moments in the MCU. Post-credit scene happens, the bangle lights up and transport Kamala away into her closet, and then who steps out of the closet? I guess we already knew who took her place, because she gets transported away. We already knew this character was going to show up in the show anyway. It was Brie Larson's Captain Marvel. Captain Marvel looks around the room, runs off screen. Bam, Miss Marvel will return in the Marvels. We don't know what happened, but we will find out what happened next year. End of episode. All right, so that was it for the rant section, the episode breakdown of the Miss Marvel finale. Comment down below, what did you guys think of the finale? And also, like, what did you think of the fact that we got introduced to the mutants in a Disney Plus show? Like, what did you think about that? But with that being said, guys, let's get right into the review part, starting off with the good. And the good thing that comes to mind here is that, as a point of reference, I did not have much faith in this show at all. I hated the casting. I hated the look of it. I hated the look of her powers, the change of her powers. I just hated all of it. And then the first episode surprised me and proved me wrong. This show is awesome. Like I said in my tweet when the first episode came out, the show could not have come at a better time in my life. Point of reference, guys, I had to take the ACT in June. I think it was like 2 days after the premiere of this show, and it hit hard for me. The overprotective parents, all of it. Like, it gave me joy to watch. Kamala going to Avenger Con, I loved knowing that I was watching a teenage fangirl who daydreams about, meeting the Avengers, or just loves the Avengers, loves Marvel in and of itself, with overprotective parents and being forced to think about her future. And all she wants to do is just go to Avenger Con and have fun, and it's literally me, but as, a woman. Iman Vellani, I want to talk about her casting a little bit. When they announced her casting, I said to my friend on the regular podcast, is that if she got the job, then that means they see something in her, but I don't have much faith in the show because she only has a high school experience in acting. Like, she only has high school drama plays experience in acting. So I didn't know what to think of the characters. And plus, they did the casting from Zoom. So I'm like, okay, well, anybody could make it through a Zoom call. Anybody can act through a Zoom call. And it's like, she just got the easiest job ever. I must say, Iman Vellani completely, within the first 5 minutes of the episode, completely made me fall in love with her portrayal. When she's uploading on YouTube, and then I see that she only has 5 views, and she's just uploading about the Avengers, literally me, I love that. I fell in love with her portrayal, I fell in love with this character, and I fell in love with the actress. She has this charm about her that's incredible to watch with her experience, with, the high school experience. Her friends are charming as well, and anytime we deviated from them, I just kept saying, Why can't we get back to Bruno and Nakia talking about playing Smash Bros after school, or Kamala failing her driver's test? All of it was charming. I loved that stuff in the first couple of episodes of this series. And also the family dynamics. I loved Amir. I love Ami. I loved Abu. I just felt like the family was warm. The mom and dad wanted to do something nice for their daughter. And then she's like, well, I don't want dad to come to Avengers Con with me. And you could just see the heartbreak in his face because he thought that he was doing something that was going to help his daughter feel better. It's just a nice nuclear family. And that's something that you rarely see in things like this. Just good people doing good things for the right reasons. That's why I loved In the Heights so much. It's just a family just wanting to be good. I loved it. All of it, I loved it. The show also felt very stylistic and fresh. There was a lot of creativity shown to portray what goes on in Kamala's head. And it was what really made me love and be excited to see the behind-the-scenes production of it all. I can't wait to see the assembled version of this. Also, I love the small-scale story. It would have worked without a villain or anyone other than the damage control. With that being said, let's move right into the bad. And the bad thing that comes to mind here is that the villains, other than damage control, they suck. I had no care for the Jin world or what Najima was trying to achieve, or even Cameron. The Red Daggers, I didn't care for as much. I didn't care for Waleed. I think everything that was trying to explain the Bangle was the worst thing about this show. The partition was great because it's something that I've never learned before. I've been in school for a very long time, and I've never heard the word partition come out of any of my history teachers' mouths. I've never seen the word partition in any of the history books. Schools, what are we doing that we haven't learned about the British invading Pakistan? Invading Pakistani families to where they had to migrate in something called the partition. That's interesting. That was great. Showing that part of history, that was great. Everything surrounding it was not. I didn't care. I really could not care less. I think that the 6-episode structure, this thing gotta stop, but they're not gonna stop. Yeah, of course She-Hulk is gonna have 9 episodes, but any other show like Armor Wars or Ironheart is gonna be 6-episode events. We just had Obi-Wan. I'm gonna review that, obviously, but we just had Obi-Wan, 6-episode event, worked better as a movie. But this 6-episode structure gotta stop. I feel as though either story would have worked. If they wanted to go more of the mythology of the Bangle, that could have worked for a 6-episode structure. Or if they just wanted to stay in Jersey and just show this charming little show about this woman who just gets powers, damage control is hunting her, I think that could work too. But for them to have such a small story first, which I really liked for the first 3 episodes, and then for 2 episodes in between to be about Waleed, the Red Daggers, the Bangle, the Partition, Aisha, Najima, the history of all of that, the connection with it in the 10 Rings. Them trying to explain the mythology of it all just made me feel like in terms of quality, in those 4th and 5th episodes, the show fell off. Until the finale. The finale put them back on track. Overall, the 4th and 5th episodes were the worst of this series. Just did not like it. Very boring. I gotta say it. The mutants are introduced in the MCU through a Disney Plus TV show. And also the first mutant of the MCU is traditionally an Inhuman. This is one of the most important pieces of information the MCU has ever dropped since 2008's Iron Man. And we get it dropped in a Disney Plus show. I never thought in a long time that we would get that dropped in a Disney Plus show. I'm glad mutants are here. I'm warming up to the idea of her being a mutant. I wish we would have seen this in a movie or something, or at least in something bigger. But I'm guessing that because of this, because they dropped that mutation line in the rear from the 90s X-Men show, I think that's going to have dramatic, big changes for the MCU going forward. I guess I should have put that in mixed, but overall, yep, those are my big negatives. In conclusion, Ms. Marvel is a fresh, fun, creative show that has more style than the other Disney Plus shows, other than WandaVision. WandaVision still has some creativity in it. Iman Vellani is great in the role. I'm excited to see her in the Marvels. I can't wait to see more of her in this universe. She is just, God, I love her in this show. The show just filled me with joy. Definitely came at a time of my life that I needed it. I needed something like this, and it definitely surpassed my expectations. I love seeing a new culture, the Pakistani culture. Like I said, it's fresh, it's new, it's stylistic, it's creative, it's charming, it's cosmic. I loved Miss Marvel. I gotta say, it's an A and a 9.4 out of 10. And I say definitely check this show out. It's for the younger audience. Remember what you're getting yourself into. It's for the younger audience. But I gotta say, if you can grasp onto this character, you will love seeing her on screen. Definitely avoid the 4th and 5th episode. 1 through 3 and then 6. Those are the great episodes. I would say definitely watch those. Alright guys, that was it for the review/rant. Please know that everything that I did say in this video was just my very own opinion. And you're free to comment down below. What did you think of the Miss Marvel finale as well as the entire series as a whole? Are you excited for the Marvels? Comment all of that down below in the comment section. Please don't forget to check out that Twitter. It's going to pop up on your screen right now. And also that Marvel playlist. That link is always in the description. And with that being said, guys, like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see you all next time. Peace.